Our ancestors and sages taught us how to lead a blissful life. If you are capable of possessing wealth, some sort of money to be donated in the form of charity. Charity is the prime duty of a person. Giving donation to a poor needy is the primary one. Sometimes the people used to donate to a person who is not fit for this. That is called Apaatra Daanam. That means undeserved gift. It means our money, our wealth, our things, whatever to be donated should be given to a proper person in a proper way and proper time. These are all prescribed in scriptures. Without knowing these things, we should not donate to anybody because it may lead to destruction of that person as well as the donated person. If you are giving to a alcohol addicted person without knowing his character, only believing his words, it will lead to a sin. Because such a person can get money from you because of your giving money in the form of donation. He drank fully and hit by a car and died. For the reason is that sin comes to you because of donating money. He drank. Because of you, he died. So there are like this. So many things are beautifully described in our scriptures. That's why whatever you donate, you should donate to a suitable person. The person should be deserved one. He should be really troubled with adversities. So we have to donate to such a person. Vedas are describing to donate to such a person who is in need. That too, basing on deshe kale cha patre cha yaddanam diyate tat satvikam. These are three types: sattvika danam, rajasika danam, tamasika danam. We should always donate to a person who is deserved. How? Deshe kale patre cha, according to the place, according to the time, according to a person. That is the principles given in scriptures about charity. Basing on this, today I took the topic of donation to undeserving is a sin. Start with prayer. Karpura Gauram Karunavataram Samsara Saram Bhujakendraharam Sada Vasantam Hridayaravinде Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. Given milk to a serpent is certainly a sin, since it bites several good people also with the strength given by your milk. Naturally, you have to share the sin as a promoter. 4 partners share the sin: actual doer, doer behind curtain, promoter, and supporter. These 4 are the root cause for this sin. So, the Vedas say that you should donate only after deep analysis. If you donate to undeserving, don't think that simply that money is wasted. You have actually purchased sin by that much money. It's not a simple zero. It's a complicated minus sign. Donation is a double-edged sword. Either it gives you good result or gives you bad result. Only 2 options are there. There is no third neutral option of zero as wastage. The whole problem comes in being hasty to do the most dangerous donation. You are always worried about a place and time, but not deservingness of receiver. Today is Shivaratri. This place is Kashi. We are going back by tomorrow. Let us donate something to somebody today itself. This hasty donation brings negative results. When you want to donate to a really deserving person, that day is Shivaratri and that place is Kashi. You have to know it well. Krishna never donated anything to anybody. When he found Sudama, he donated everything to him. He was real devotee and not aspiring anything from Krishna. The Veda says that the two deserving characteristics for donations are divine knowledge and non-aspiration of anything from you. The Veda further says that the donor should not be proud with ego, and donation must be always done with lot of shy and humility. All this creation is the wealth of God only, isn't it? You are donating the wealth of God given by God to you. Sometimes God comes straight to you as a beggar hiding his donation to you. He drops a note of 100 rupees in your way without your knowledge. You think that you were lucky to get it and also think that since you have made effort to come by that way, you have got the reward. The truth is that you may come in any way. God is dropping that note in your selected way only. After the note is received by you, God will come as a pitiable beggar, begging for 1 rupee only to test your charity. Even if you recognize him as God, if you are intelligent, you will say to the beggar, sorry, no change. When Krishna begged for 5 villages only for the sake of Pandavas, blind King Dhritarashtra told Krishna, oh God, what can I do? My bloody son is not listening to me. God knows when, where, and how to retort. Once a sin is committed, it is recorded in the fate of any soul through miraculous audio-video system called Chitragupta. Due to this system, the sin appears as an audio-video cassette. There is no need of many more witnesses are required in our present honorable courts. The deity of justice in the hell stands with open eyes, without any black cloth covering them, since the deity sees directly the ease and gives appropriate judgment. No witness and no liars are required. This divine system is extended to some extent to this world as the present audio-video technology. The only way to escape the punishment of past sin is non-repetition of sin practically due to reformation by spiritual knowledge. Hence, if the sin is not repeated from today onwards, all the punishments of such type of sins get cancelled. But remember that the fate of the soul remains as it is, since file is a record of various types of other sins also already committed. This file is called Sanchita. Future punishment shall be added in this file in the name of Agami. The fruit to be enjoyed in this world itself is called Prarabdham, which is of two types. the past fruit that caused the present life, and the fruits of present intensive deeds did in this life to be enjoyed in this world itself immediately. The heaven and the hell exist in the upper worlds for all normal routine deeds, but both the heaven and hell exist here in this world also for intensive deeds. Unless you evaluate the deservingness of the receiver, there is always a risk doing the charity, because if the receiver is undeserving, you will get the punishment of the sin instead of getting a positive fruit. Doing charity is very tricky, like a double edged sword. The entire concentration must be in deciding the deservingness of the receiver. Certainly, it is not easy. Hence, I advise you to not be in any haste and donate under the illusion of a holy place and holy time. If the receiver is holy, every place is holy and time is holy. Regarding the serving of free food to all temple visitors, irrespective of their deservingness and need, I have already given a message. I have suggested that TTD should open beggar homes, providing residence, food, clothing, and medicine to beggars instead of giving food to everybody. The majority is capable of purchasing their own food, and so you can charge them as outside restaurants. Charge people and use that money for running those beggar homes. Many are capable of spending for their food, and you are forcing them to take free food in the name of prasada of God. This is not a wise and correct process. As apadharma, which is a charity done in an emergency without looking into the deservingness of the receiver, beggars, and extremely poor people must be helped. They should be provided not only with food, but also residence, clothing, and medicines. If the above said policy of charging financially capable people is followed, the basic needs of these beggars and extremely poor people can be provided. It's a kind of way to eradicate poverty. Some devotees told me that even in the joke of God Datta, real spiritual knowledge exists. I replied to them as follows. This statement applies to God Datta, who is in me and who said these words. God Datta says that He alone is the knower of the real spiritual knowledge of the Veda, and that He has come down to propagate it. Datta does not have any aspiration for anything, since He is the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of everything in this world. In this way, both the qualifications prescribed by the Veda are fulfilled only in Him. You can take this statement in this way also. Since God Dattatreya is the future of the Veda, He prescribed these two qualifications of the person to whom He likes to donate. Regarding the preaching of spiritual knowledge in a step-by-step manner, it is God Datta who is doing this preaching. Hence, not only is the subject perfect, but the presentation of the subject is also perfect. Whenever you donate something to a deserving person, its fruit is tremendous. The fruit totally depends on the deservingness of the receiver alone, and on no other factors like a place and time of donation. It does not matter whether it was a holy place or not, and it does not matter whether it was holy festival day or not. When Lord Krishna donated all his wealth to Sudama, the place was neither holy place nor was the time holy time. Among place, time, and deservingness of the receiver, the deservingness of the receiver alone decide the fruits of charity. And then automatically a question arises. When donating to an undeserving person is inevitable, can I give him spiritual knowledge and then donate to him? The answer will be like this. Such a donation can only be done in the case of an emergency. Otherwise, such charity brings sin. First, you should give spiritual knowledge to the person. If you are sure that the person is transformed by your preaching, then you may donate to him. Another question comes like this. Will my dead parents get spiritual merit if I donate to a deserving person on their name? It can be donated to such a person who is deserved for it. Donating money and helping a person in other ways are one and the same charity. The question must be made clearer, stating the total context. The statement in the devotional song comes from a devotee having 100% faith in God. In that case, that statement comes from the depth of the devotee's heart and not from the tip of the tongue. But generally, all of us utter the same statement, how mechanically, while worshipping God. Efforts must always be put up, either in one's worldly life or in one's spiritual life. Even if the fruit from God for doing his divine service. In the case of worldly services rendered to worldly people, one must aspire for the fruit. If God has a hope that a person might do divine service in future, God may help that person in advance, even though that person has not put in any effort. If you do God's work due to your real love for God, which is characterized by the absence of any aspiration in return, God's help will appear before you in a fraction of a second. Even such an idea should not enter your brain. When parents serve the children, they do it all due to their true love towards their children, without having any such idea as mentioned by you. Is it not? Your idea does not prove that your love for God is real. Take the case of a mad fan of a cinema hero or a political leader who commits suicide on learning about the natural death of that hero or leader. Such a fan works for his hero or leader day and night without aspiring for anything in return. Such an example must be kept in our mind while serving God. for giving spiritual knowledge to anybody, including your parents. No situations are required. Sometimes God is totally hidden or partially hidden or totally revealing himself. Krishna killed several demons from the birthday itself and protected all the villagers from several dangers, thereby revealing himself to be God clearly. In spite of that, several gopikas made complaints to his mother regarding his stealing butter. How to get the total file destroyed so that we can escape the punishments of all our past sins computerized as various times. Deletion of one type of sins cannot bring total solution. For this, total reformation is needed so that non repetition of all types of sin can take place. This is possible only when you enter into work of propagation of spiritual knowledge in this world. During the propagation, concepts are again and again get repeated continuously, and this process of impressions on mind leads to digestion of concepts permanently in your brain. The Veda says, here memorize and digest. Since you are in the work of divine service of propagation of spiritual knowledge, God will order to keep your file in cold storage, since the soul is in the work should not be disturbed by implementation of the file. Of course, the interests are continuously added in the file. Don't worry about this interest. Once you are totally reformed, your file, the record of principle and interest shall be burnt, since there is no need of punishment if the soul is really reformed. Proved by non-repetition of any type of sin from today onwards. Regarding the taking money from one pocket and putting it in other pocket, the Veda says that charity should be done to a receiver who is deserving. The Veda describes the deserving receiver as the one who is thorough with the true spiritual path. It is further said that the person should not aspire for any fruit from anybody, the divine service he is doing. I do not find any deserving receiver as per Veda. One more question. If the paths of the wife and husband are not the same, and only one is devoted to God and working for spiritual progress, how will the progress of both happen? Understand? Let us see the answer. Husband and wife are only associated in worldly life, sharing some common worldly aims. Especially in the spiritual line, everyone only has his or her own single account. Joint accounts, nominees, etc. are only there in the system of banks existing in worldly life. Then another question. How can one control the ego and jealousy towards fellow devotees? Good question. Answer. While learning the spiritual knowledge from you, it is possible to keep my ego and jealousy under control. at last to some extent. But how should I control my ego and jealousy towards other devotees? While doing the work of propagation of spiritual knowledge, teamwork is needed, required, right? What if everyone is working in their own way and that way might not be very effective? Who will tell me that my way of putting forth effort may not be very fruitful if it is so? One's ego and jealousy should be conquered, not only towards the contemporary human incarnation, but also towards real devotees. The incarnation is the first residential address of God, and the devotee is the second residential address of God. God likes the second residential address more. Certainly, teamwork has its distinguished advantage than individual work. The struggle for living is the basic need, for which there is no alternative. If you keep the service to God as the ultimate aim of your life, God will certainly help you. Donations reduce attachment to sensual pleasure. The detachment begins by donations and forgiveness. However, if charity or donation is inadequate, done with repentance, or given to ineligible, then it is worthless. In Vedas, service, charity, and benevolence have been attributed to paramount religion. Shatahasta samahara sahasrahasta samkira. It means earn with hundreds of hands and donate with thousands of hands. Srimad Bhagavad Gita has described four yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga, depending upon the nature of the collective consciousness of the people. It describes four pillars of dharma, and they are truthfulness, mean Satya, mean Krita Yuga, hard work, tapas, purity of mind, pavitrata, and charity, daya or dana. So, four major: Satyam, tapasu, pavitrata, daya or dana. Whether a person is in Satya Yuga or Kali Yuga is decided by presence of some or all the four characteristics as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam: Satya, Tapa, and Daya Dhanam. If all the four characteristics are present, the person is Satyugi. If truthfulness is absent, the person is called Treta Yugi. Satya Yugi to Treta Yugi. If both truthfulness and hard work are absent, one is Dwapara Yugi. When only Dana and Daya are present, the person is Kali Yugi. This indicates that be it any type of person or any yuga, Dana is an important component. That is Sattvika Dhanam. Datavyamiti yaddanam diyate nupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha taddanam satvikam smrutam. Charity given to a worthy person simply because it is right to give without consideration of anything in return. At the proper time in the proper place is stated to be in the mode of goodness. This kind of charity that is practiced out of a sense of duty simply because one feels it is the right thing to do to a worthy person at an appropriate time with no expectation of reward or return from the recipient is called Satvika Danam. Rajasika Danam. Yattu pratyupakarādam phalamudihya vā punaha diyaceta pariklishtam taddanam rajasamsrutam. But charity given with reluctance, with the hope of a return, or in expectation of a reward, is said to be in the mode of passion. This is Rajasika charity. Last, Tamasika Danam. Adeshakale Danam Apatrebhya Diyate Asatkritam avajñātam tattamasika mudakritam. And the charity which is given at the wrong place and wrong time to unworthy persons without showing respect or with contempt is held to be of the nature of nescience. Shreekantāya Kalyananidena Dedanam Shri Venkatanivasaaya Srinivasaya Mangalam Mangalasasana Premadacharya Purogamaihi Sarvesha Bhurvairacharya Satkrutāyastu Mangalam.